Hey everyone, it is Saucy, and I happen to get a 2012 MacBook Pro, as the title says. This came from work, and I'm trying to see if I can get this either for free or at a really good price for my work. I recently sold some. I didn't necessarily sell it, but we collected an item that sold for $7,000, and I might get this as like a bonus or something. But I always get freebies of some sorts, but I usually don't take like anything wild. Like maybe at most $200 items if it was worth that much, retail. But here is a Mac Pro. This is like a 2012 model. Um, I haven't really came across many of these. Usually I come across the DDR2 ones. They don't have the processor. See how that thing just came out like that? They don't have where it comes out like that. That's the Wi-Fi, and I don't know what else I was trying to look at right over there, but this unit was fairly clean. Um, they use this for like video production or something. I forget what it was, what was really in that hard drive, but I didn't really mess with it. I made a new user, and I saw that it had, I think, Adobe Premiere installed and a few other things. um, I noticed that it had two hard drives inside there, and I believe one was a 3 terabyte, and it said it was a backup, and the other one was a 750. Normally, I always delete all the files, do like a zero wipe, but on Macs sometimes they come with certain software like you know Office and stuff like that, so I don't wipe it because the license is good. What I do is I create a new user, and then I delete the old users, try to find if there's any old files, and then I zero out all the free space. And I don't know what I was doing in that video. Oh, so I happen to get this WD hard drive. I think this is from their Velociraptor or something like that, or Rapid Drive. I think it's called like an ice cool hard drive caddy or something like that. Anywho, we got this customer that comes in. His name is Lloyd. He's a Mac fan, and he recently started watching Louis Rossman's videos. And anywho, he said that he asked me if I had, he saw that, and he said if he could have it, and so I just gave it to him. And then he told me the secret was that he uses them for Mac Pros because they look so nice. And I had to buy like some weird caddy tray for the Mac Pro, and I just remember it not being as great as I thought it would. So I'm using it obviously for a SSD, because SSD is the size of a laptop hard drive. Although there was some early SSDs were as big as a normal hard drive. But yeah, just screwing all the hex screws in. I think I use a Torx T8 screw for it, but it's supposed to keep it. That particular hard drive caddy was supposed to be for like for servers. So yeah. What I like about these Macs is that usually nobody they come with empty caddies. So usually, unless they remove the hard drives, you won't get them. But there's I mean, from all the Macs that I got, maybe like 75% of them had the caddies in them still. And if they didn't, either the hard drive that they had it in was taken out, so there was still would be like maybe one or two or even three, hard drive caddies still there. Um, I think I sorted these out the wrong way. I didn't swap out the hard drive number one with the SSD, which was hard drive number three, so the numbers might be weird on here. I do like how when you close the Mac that it locks those hard drives in place. So that's one cool thing. And here we have is the RAM upgrade. Now these Mac Pros, they only use Xeon processors, and these ones in particular, the 2009 and the 2010 and 2012, they take ECC RAM, which is server RAM, and I put some 4 gig sticks inside there, so it has excuse me, 16 gigs of RAM. And And I mean 6 gigs could do good, but when you have server RAM, like if you have a server RAM, it's just so plentiful, and so I decided to use it. Um, this was like a random hard drive I got. It didn't work for some odd reason, but usually it's just the like the power adapter that goes bad. Uh, I had a very hard time opening this thing up, but I was drinking a bit, so that kind of helped struggle. I didn't have my little watch tool, which is like a shimmy or something like that. So I had to use like some weird screwdriver thing. I didn't have the tools that I should have used for this thing, but eventually I got it open after about like 5 minutes. Um, I I just put the hard drive in without initializing it. I don't think the hard drive actually works. It says that it doesn't read it, and for some odd reason, I can't seem to wipe the hard drive under Mac OS. But I'm thinking it must be like some weird format that Mac just can't read, so it can't just erase. Um, Once you go Mac, it's kind of the whole file compatibility is just it gets so annoying. You could use a hard drive from a Mac and you can put on a Windows computer, but you can't use a hard drive from a Windows computer on a Mac or vice versa. It's really weird. It's there must be a certain way to format it, but it's something that I really don't like try to focus much on. And uh, here it is, me connecting the connectors. This has I think an HD 58 or 5770, so it has DVI and two display ports, and then there's only three USBs in the back and like two. I think that one says FireWire. Also, the good Mac Pros have the power adapter up on top. The DDR2 models do have it too, but yeah. Um, to get to this menu, I think when I pressed power, I held the Option key, and I was trying to boot from the USB, but I was not able to because the USB I had, I guess, was bad. I don't know. I thought I had good USBs, but here I have a Yosemite USB that I tried to boot off of. Ultimately, I wasn't successful. I'm not sure why I've been having problems, but recently I have like only like two sticks right now that I can install. You know, or OS X or Mac OS, and for some other reason they're not working anymore. Um, Here I am trying to erase the hard drive. At first I didn't know what it was. You could wipe it in a few different ways. You could do exFAT, MS DOS, or of course Mac OS extended partition or whatever. That's the one that you want to use to install Mac OS X. I reset the date and time, I erased the hard drive, and I tried to install OS X. But for some reason it was acting really strange. I had Yosemite. My other USB has Sierra, but supposedly it wasn't working. So I really don't understand. I was installing this and I thought it was gonna be fine, but ultimately I was not able to. I could have rerouted the other hard drive that I had, but I didn't really want to. And I had this weird error right here that I didn't get why it said that, but I think it must be. I don't think I got a good version of Yosemite, to be honest. I think I downloaded a weird version. And I was going to try to boot up DiskMaker X to create a bootable USB, but ultimately it didn't work. And then when I really thought about it, I already had downloaded OS X Sierra on the original hard drive that I made a single use and erased all the data. So I was thinking, like, why am I gonna make another USB when it might not work? And um, I don't know what I'm doing right here, but I could just simply just install it from I could install from this hard drive to the next hard drive and call it a day, and just keep the second hard drive as backup. Um, there really is. I should really take out the original hard drive that I have on there, because I don't think I'm gonna use it unless I need it for backup or for recovery. I don't want to touch it, because if I'm gonna ever sell this Mac, I'm gonna just use that hard drive to sell it for. I'm gonna of course keep the SSD, because I mean, why not? But ultimately, I mean, maybe I will sell it with this SSD, but I'd rather just do a clean install than to do the, well, I guess a full wipe on the one on the SSD is pretty quick. If you do the secure wipe off of part of Magic, it's like only 10 seconds. I don't know. I don't know. I might upgrade the SSD, so there's that. And then oh yeah, I was gonna show the specs. It has a 3.2 gigahertz quad core Xeon processor. I believe it scores like 6,000 or 8,000 or something like that on Passmark. 16 gigs of RAM, the HD 5770. It shows 3 hard drives, but it doesn't show the fourth hard drive for some odd reason. I think maybe that external hard drive got dropped. And we got 16 gigs of RAM, but I mean that's good for that's really good for a laptop, really good. But yeah, so I reinstalled, and here I am with the the startup screen, just connecting all that stuff. If you guys ever come by in around El Cajon, around my area, and you see that Nighthawk, you know, that Nighthawk radio, the password is, okay, guess what kind of laptops I like to have. That's the password, okay? I'm just going to leave it at that. I enable location services, but it really doesn't matter. I didn't sign to iCloud because I've heard people having problems with iCloud, and then you will get like a text message on your device. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. If I'm on a text message, I don't know. I just that's not for me. I hate being bugged, and I think you do FaceTime on it, and I was just like, why? Well, maybe I'll do FaceTime on a computer, because it's better than holding the phone, and ugh, the lame angles and looking at yourself talking and all that stuff. I don't know. But oh yeah, so I guess I I only had one mouse at the time. I didn't know where all the other ones were at, so I went to go buy a mouse. It's been like $50. It was supposedly a Bluetooth mouse, but I couldn't figure it out. So luckily, this mouse has a dongle, so you could, use it. Here I am installing some apps. Uh, they're not the most legitimate apps, but here I am going in terminal. Sometimes you might have some problems downloading. If you download applications but not from the iTunes store, you might not be able to use them. So, like, say, I think I was trying to install, not, I'm gonna say herd, but it's the wrong thing. But, there's, if somebody who does like free software wants to, they make a new program and all that good stuff, and they can't do it, you can't install it because of that. And currently there's like some weird issue with Sierra where it won't install automatically on those apps. So usually on the .dmg file or the image or whatever you want to call it, I really don't know what it is, but if it doesn't install it, you gotta just hold right click on the icon of the app, and you are able to show the file contents, and then you just gotta look for the install file. It's kind of like an ISO with Windows. And I think I write down the. Obviously, on my left, I have the computer that I'm using to do all this stuff, and I'm installing a legit version of Photoshop. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing right here now. Okay, so maybe all I remember is I was listening to techno music, so I was having a lot of fun. Uh, it would help if I have this window super big. Okay, so SPCTL space minus minus masters minus disable. Basically, under security and privacy, as you can see here, you only can install apps from the App Store or from signature developers, which is pretty whack. But after you run that code, you're able to install from anywhere, so it helps. The like a certain like the fan control programs, yeah, stuff like that. I disabled automatic. This they disable automatic login, which is really annoying. Same with the screen not lock. It's just oh my god, it's just super annoying. And then the energy saver is another thing too. It likes to turn off fairly soon. I think 10 minutes is too quick. On MacBooks, I also enabled the touch or the tap to click because for some odd reason they disable it on Sierra. I think they disable it on El Capitan as well. And then this is me trying to navigate the sound. So this machine, for some odd reason, usually when you install OS X, you get to hear sound out of it. But for some odd reason, this machine wasn't playing sound from the speakers, and it looks like I'm gonna upgrade from 16 gigs to using 16 gigabyte modules. Oh my god, these edits! The RAM just pops right out really easily. This is a DDR3L, low voltage and low profile. These are actually Samsung modules. I had to take out one of the sticks, so I couldn't do 64 gigs of RAM. I can only do 48.